Hiya, it's Kerry from Mobilates here with Virtual Village Hall, and we've got 30 minutes of really gentle exercise, standing, seated, bit of lying down. We're going to be lying, sitting, all sorts of things today. And remember, if you don't like getting down on the floor, it's really difficult to get on the floor, you can always do this on your bed. Just throw the duvet back so that you're on your mattress, because you want a firm base, a bit of stability underneath you. Hope you've had a good week. Let's get started. So we're going to start with a little bit of shaking, and you can take this very gently. You can be a bit more vigorous if you feel like it. I invite you either to look away from the screen, don't look at me, no one is watching, or you could close your eyes if that feels safe, and you could be doing this from the edge of your bed, from the edge of your chair. No rules on this one, it's whatever feels good. You're just trying to stir the energy, shake it up, a bit like you're gently shaking a snowstorm. So you're just sort of agitating, stirring, awakening, all those things. You can walk around as you're doing this. Some people like to sort of almost like bounce around or dance around. You might let your arms go in and out, or to and fro, or turn, just anything that feels good. We're nearly done. Let your breath be a bit heavier. And then we're bringing it back to the front. Let your body have a little time. I'm just looking to see who's in already. Jean's in already. Nice to see you, Jean. I'm just going to scroll down here. Let's see. Anybody else in today? Drop me a comment, say hi. And then just letting everything settle. Letting your movement slow. And you're coming to sitting or standing fairly still. Just takes a little while. You've just had all that energy shaken up, and just like those snowflakes sort of settling down on the bottom of a snowstorm. We just have to take that moment to settle. We're going to circle the arms in and out, as big or as small as you want. And you can either keep looking ahead, or you can look up at the hands and then forwards, breathing in and breathing out. In, out, last one, in, out. And just bring your hands just to the center of your chest. You can stack them one on top of the other, and just take a few breaths out and let everything settle. Breathing into your belly, letting it swell, and as you breathe out, feeling your belly deflate and pull back slightly. And then let your arms hang downwards. We're going to bring our feet in a little, and so they're parallel. And when we look down, there's room for a paperback book between our feet. If you're seated or on the edge of your bed, you could place two fists, loose fists, just between your knees. And from this point, I'm going to stay in this position, I think. We're going to go into pelvic tilts. So could have a hand on your belly, hand on your lower back. Take a breath in, send it to your belly. And then as you breathe out, a bit more effort on the out breath, feel your belly pull back. And as you do that, feel your waistband just sort of bowing out at the back. If I do it from the side, you can see a very slight curve here. And then as I come upwards and forwards, I've got a little bit of an arch, and I've got more belly at the front as I breathe in. Breathing out. My back tends to go quite straight. It doesn't go very curved in this position. You might be more curved than me here. We're just trying to avoid that sort of slump. And what you might also like to tune into are the bony bits of your bottom, especially if you're sitting on a harder chair, because you feel them a little bit more. So I'm just rocking sort of just slightly off them as I lower here, as I lengthen here rather, and just rocking slightly over them onto a bit more thigh as I go forwards. And let's grow tall and sit somewhere in the middle of those. And then we'll take an ear towards one shoulder, ear towards the other shoulder. That's it. You can relax your arms here, or your arms might be down by your sides if you're standing. And then we're going to go on a neck roll. And I think today I'm going to draw a little infinity symbol with my nose, so you can start small with this. So I'm going fairly small, and then I'm going to get bigger. And if it feels okay for you, you can get bigger too, or you could do any other neck roll that you really like. And just letting your breath slow and steady for this. And just bringing that shape back to the center, so I'm making that infinity symbol smaller. And then I'm looking back forwards at you. I'm just coming up to see here who else is in. Irene, hello, pleasure to have you here. Let's go for some shoulder rolls. So I'm going to do a mix today. You could do double shoulder rolls. You could do singles, one side and then the other, especially good if you've got a problem going on at one side or it's stiffer. So you can just treat it in a different way. I'm going to do some forwards as well. And then let's take hands towards shoulders and bringing the elbows in to touch. You can even nod your head over slightly if you want to. And then opening the elbows out, taking them back a little. And you might feel like you can just push your chest slightly more forwards and slightly up. Like your head might want to go back a little bit. And then we'll just go between those two positions. Take your time. What I like with this one is as I bring the elbows forward, I can feel the tension. I've got 2 layers on, maybe 3 layers actually. At the back, I can feel the stretching across here and the sort of opening between my shoulder blades just from the tension of my clothes. That's quite a nice sort of sensation to get a bit of feedback from. And then taking your feet to a V shape. Zipping your legs together. Now, if you're sat, your knees are going to be out at the side. So in the sitting position, this is how I'd like you to go. Just forwards and backwards. Forwards, feeling more pressure into your feet, or you might feel it in your thighs if you don't feel it in your feet. So you've got to go into the area where you get the feeling. And if you're standing, you're going to do some little heel raises. Oh, and then some knee bends. Now the arms are somewhere to help you. So it might be they go out to the side. It might be that you're holding on to something. It could be a mantelpiece or a chair. And your back doesn't bend forwards. It's sliding down a wall. If you're sitting, I'd like you to add that heel raise in so you can forwards and up, heel raise. That's it. And then we can do something with the arms as well. So just get a bit of rhythm going. So we can start lifting the arms out to the sides. And then as we come up, they could come up in the air. If that works for you. If you need to hold on to something, prioritize that first. If you're seated, you can take it forwards. As you raise the heels, the arms could go up. See if you can lengthen the arms and straighten them as much as you can. That's it. And we'll go a couple more. Then we're going to turn the feet forwards again, so they're back to parallel. Take the arms behind, and let's lead with the little fingers, just reaching back. Now, if you're on the chair, you can actually squeeze your arms in to touch the chair back as your chair sort of sides and back as you're doing this. reaching the arms as far back as they'll go, and just pressing. You can see my arms just tapping against the chair sides there. If you're standing, reaching the arms back, you can give little pulses. It's like you're trying to just pulse an imaginary balloon or squidgy ball or something like that. So I'm not bringing them as far. I'm not trying to touch like that. It's just a little. There's a little bit of giving something just there at the back. You can also pulse backwards and forwards a little bit as well. And then just let the arms swing. Just let them ease off. Well done. Right, now we're going to take our legs a little bit wider. The feet are turned out. And we're going to bend at the knees. And if you're sitting, you're going to lean over to one side then the other. So we're going to bend one side, the knees going roughly over the toes. And then same on the other side. Now it might be you're doing quite a small bend, and so you stay upright. If you're doing a deeper bend, so if I go deeper at this side, it might be you could stick your bum out a little bit here. See, I've got a sort of flattish back coming forwards, just putting my hands on my thighs for a bit of balance. And then something to do with the arms. So I'm going to give you two options. You could go arm over the top. You could go arm underneath. And you could mix it up. You could do both. Do one round of arm arching over the top and one round of the arm sweeping underneath, and send your bum back a bit further for that one. And if you're seated, see the lean over to each side. And that reach gives you a bigger sort of stretch along the side. And keeping your bum on the seat rather than letting it off each way, sort of leaving the seat. So keeping that nice and heavy and really leaning. That's it. And let's go for one more. And then starting to bring your feet in. They're a bit wider than when we started. And if you're seated, slide your hands on your thighs. If you're standing, just letting your arms just swish around you, moving your feet, and just getting a little bit of waist rotation. And then make it bigger. So if you're standing, you can really let your arms fly out, and you can let them fling onto your body. If you're sitting, you tend to crash into the chair quite easily with that. So I have to keep the arms a little bit closer in. And I always think of like swishing water, like I'm in a jacuzzi or a spa or something like that. Always a nice thought on a Wednesday afternoon. So we're just doing a little sort of warm-up rotation for the spine in a safe range of movement for anybody with osteoporosis or osteopenia, because it's really gentle. And then let's bring it back to the front. We're going to go into a bow and arrow move, so a little bit more waist rotation. If you have got osteoporosis or osteopenia, as you do this, so you're drawing a bow back, let your hip, here's my hip here, let that move with you. So that arm reaches forward and we're sticking to one side. This arm is sort of pulling the string of a bow back. Now I've done 3 or 4 of these. Now I'm going to let the arm arc underneath and do 3 or 4 of these, I think 4. And then let the arms swing down again. And we're going to go the same on the other side. So if I do it seated, come to the edge of my chair and a bit to the side so that my elbow doesn't crash. Arms forwards, taking my elbow back, and I'm just following. That's it. See, Buffy has decided to join us. Hi, Buff. So we're doing about 4 of these. I think that's my 4th. And now the arm arcing down. Now, if you can't reach as far as that, you might be going down here and then coming up. That's okay. And this other arm, it just stays facing forwards. I'm just turning the palm as I reach the top. I think that's the last one. Let those arms just swing downwards. That's it. And then we're going to go into a balance. So, taking the weight into one leg, and with the other leg, keeping the ball of the foot really light on the floor, opening out from the hip. I always think of this as like a door, sort of opening at the hinge, and this is the hinge. So you could be holding on to something here. She's been a bit fruity, Buffy. I think it's because she can't get out of the room very easily, so I might have to open the door for her. If you're seated, you could be going like this or like this. Just getting into that hip joint. Come on, Buff, off you go. See you later. And then we're going to hold this leg outwards, like the door being open. Slide the foot closer to you. And it could be that either in the standing or the seated position, this is enough balance for you. If you want more, if you're standing, you could take it so that foot goes further up your leg, could even go higher up. You're trying to open out here whilst keeping the hips forwards. So this knee is going outwards. If you're seated, you could lengthen this front leg and balance the foot on top of it. Grow really tall. The arms can come out to the sides. You can give them a little wave. Bring them in, out. You're just trying to throw yourself off course a little bit. And then bring it down. Give your bum a wiggle. Maybe have a little walk around if you're standing. And then we're going to go for the other side. So we're opening up this hip. So it could be like this if you're seated. Or you could leave the foot there and open that way. That's it. This foot stays down, this leg as still as you can get it. That's your sort of stable supporting leg. And then keeping that outwards, bringing the foot closer to this other leg. So that could be the place that you balance. If you've got more flexibility in your hip, you might be in that sort of position. But otherwise, lengthen this leg a little and balance on top, and just trying to encourage that knee outwards. And you're just trying to find a comfortable place. So it depends on your leg where the comfortable place is. Growing tall and then letting the arms move. I'm going to do this one standing. You could even let your eyes go, oh, narrow. I'm going hazy in the screen. Oh, I can see that's more wobbly. Growing as tall as you can. Imagine your roots spreading through the floor in your tree. And then taking that down, giving everything a bit of a wiggle. Walk down really to. And we're going to from the hands. Just taking the hands in and out and the wrists and making that a bit bigger. That's it. So it's going into your shoulders. Now this might be enough. We can start leaning back a little from our shoulders and our chest at the top. Just extending our back a little. We can also start hinging forwards and backwards. See the bottom going back and then the hips go forward. So that can work too. And seated. Hinging forwards and backwards, your back stays straight. And then it comes for your back. You can round it and lower if you want to go lower. If you are happier with the straighter back, stick with that or with the standing. Just getting lots of movement through the body. Finishing this move off. Oh, one or two more. And then making your way down to the surface that you're going to lie on, sit on. We're going to sit first. So I'm going to take the camera downwards. There we go. And we're going to start. Oh, I need to move my chair as well. Let's move that one out of the way. Start sitting on our bottoms with the legs longish. And you want to be able to sit upright. So for me, I've got my legs gently bent. Your toes may be up here like this or touching the floor, but you could also let your knees go out to the side and your feet go closer if that feels more comfortable. So it depends what feels right for you. But I want you to be able to, see that's quite slumpy. I want you to be able to pull yourself up and use the backs of your thighs, use your hands and your arms. So it's a bit of work for the hands and arms, this one, particularly sort of, I feel it just around the wrists, my fingers pulling in, just trying to get super tall. And then we're going to hinge back slightly. So the arms and your belly muscles are doing the work here. And then come to sitting up. And it could be like this. I'm going to go again. And just check, is your jaw tense? Are you getting super tight and bitey? Oh, have a little wriggle. And then this next one might be you just do it from sitting up, just letting an arm go. And then the other arm, maybe both arms. Can you keep that upright position? Let's take it backwards a little. Could you let one arm go? Can you let the other arm go? No hands. And then coming upright. And now we're going to make our way down to our back. So it might be you're going to roll backwards. It might be you're more comfortable rolling onto your side and then rolling onto your back. You can grab a cushion for underneath your head. And when you get there, just spend a little bit of time settling in like you just got into bed. Maybe you are just on the bed. Letting your knees have a sway. Letting your head have a turn each way. And then place your hands on your belly. Imagine a round tray. There's a marble in the center. And we're going to roll that marble right around the edge of the round tray. There's a lip on the edge so it won't fall off. And we're just trying to get some nice pelvic movement. You can close your eyes and really imagine rolling that marble. Maybe you hear the sound. Maybe you can picture the marble, the colour twist that it has inside it. And then pause. And now start to take it the other way. It takes a few sort of moments for that to settle in. That's it. And you're just trying to find your groove, trying to feel the sort of smoothness as you roll that marble around the edge. And just one or two more. And then bring that marble back to the center of the tray. And then your arms go down by your sides. Give everything a bit of a shimmy. The tray has disappeared. Right, arms are going a little bit closer to your sides now. You can go palms down or palms up. We're going to take the legs one at a time to tabletop. So take a breath in. And as you breathe out, peel a heel off the floor, then a toes, then that leg goes up in the 90-degree shape and just hold it there. And then take it down. Toes going to be first. Lovely. Breath in. Breath out. Other legs doing the same. And just holding there. And then taking it down. Next one's going to be the same. Just keep the legs going now. As one goes down, the other gets ready to come up. We've got this beautiful shape, this completely 90 degrees square corner going on here. Now we can do something with our arms here. I'm going to give you options. You can just float them off the floor, reaching them away from yourself. And that's actually the more challenging option because the arms feel heavier like this. You could also bring your arms, so your fingers are up towards the ceiling and the palms are facing, and then let your shoulders drop down. That's a little easier. Your arms don't feel so heavy because they're just straight up. You could take them slightly behind as well. So whichever position you're going in, I'm going for this sort of hover today. And then we're going to make it a little bit more challenging. So one leg up, then the other leg, one leg down, then the other leg, then reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time with that leg leading, and one more time with the other leg leading. And then take your arms back behind you and just circle nice and wide. And we'll do 2 more of those. And then bring your knees in towards your chest. Hug them in. Feel your bum come away from the floor. You're getting a little bit rounding at the back. And you can either keep hugging in like that, gentle, like a tiny little bounce. Or you might hug in and you can also hug back to your thighs and rock from side to side. If you're comfortable lifting your head, you can hug your knees in, lift your head and chest up, almost like a little ball. You could even rock that way if you wanted to. So just doing what feels nicest for you. And then we're going to take the legs downwards. Slide anything that you've got underneath your head away. And we're going to go into some tilts and some bridges. So first we've got our legs hip distance apart. And if you're not sure, bring your feet and knees together. Take your heels out and your toes forwards. So now we've got a little gap between our knees. Going to take a breath in. And as you breathe out, pubic bone towards nose. Feeling the lower bit of your bum just lifting off the floor. It's still quite soft at this point. We're just doing a little one. And then rolling down again. Next one's a bit bigger. Breath in. Pubic bone towards your nose. And go a little higher. Push through your feet. And you might go high enough just to be able to slide a hand underneath. And then we're going to go up again. Breath in. Breathing out. Up we go. And going higher. Just holding that there. The arms are helping slightly. I'm not really pushing through them. They're just a little bit of extra. I think my feet and my glute muscles are doing some of the work here, not my arms. Rolling down. And we're going to go up one more time. You can bring your feet a little closer if you like and see how that feels. Articulating up, so you're rolling up. Think of it like a red carpet. So I'm going higher now. And the higher you go, the more effort it is. You tend to get more squeeze on the bum because there's a bit more work involved. And then roll down. And now take your legs a little wider. So I'm taking my feet out, not quite as wide as my mat, but a little bit wider. Definitely bringing my feet closer. This one's different. Arms can be slightly further out, reaching long, pressing slightly down. So we're not going to articulate and do that tilt. We're just going to lift the bum and the hips straight up towards the ceiling. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, lift up. As you breathe in, lower down, not to the floor. It's like there's a little room underneath. Lift up. Lower. Lift. Lower. Breathing out as you lift. In as you lower. Out as you lift. Now lower a tiny bit and then come up. A tiny bit and up again. A tiny bit and up. 2 more. Last one. And then lower, lower, lower. Bring those legs in again. Maybe wider this time. You might want a little stretch or kick of the legs. You might want a little roll from side to side. That's it. And then we're going to move on to our fronts. So take yourself onto your side first. And then all the way over onto your front. Legs a bit wider apart, they're reaching away long, and if you've got a lot of tightness in the lower back, you might like a cushion underneath, sort of low belly and sort of groin area. Now, I'm making a space for my head to rest with my hands. And now I'm going to lengthen the legs away so they're long, feels like someone's pulling them. And lengthening this one closest to you, so it just starts to lift off the floor. And now I'm going to take my heel towards my bum and squeeze. And then I'm going to lengthen away, same side, and squeeze. Lengthen, like someone's pulling it, and squeeze. Last one, lengthen and squeeze. Now we're going to hold it there. I'm going to bring this arm round, and it might be that I've got my sort of flary pants on today. Grab that fabric to pull the foot closer to you. I'm going to lengthen the toe now as well. It might be you can reach your foot. It might be it's miles away and you're just going to squeeze it there and hold it. So just going for what works for you. We're getting a stretch on this front thigh. And just trying to breathe. Relax. Easier said than done sometimes, isn't it? And then take that leg down. And before we do the other side, take your legs wide and give your bum a sway from side to side. Just easing things off. So any tightness that you felt as we were doing that, just really letting your bum sway from side to side as much as it wants to, just easing it off. And then bring those legs a little bit closer. They're long again, like someone's just pulling on them. And we're going to do the other leg. So I'm on this leg here, my right leg. I'm lengthening it, and then I'm bringing the heel towards the bum, and as I do that, I'm just changing my foot angle. And then lengthen the foot. And then it's like the toes are going towards my knee. That's it. Reaching long, like someone's pulling the leg, and it might even feel like it's a little bit lifted off the floor. Squeezing. Reaching long. Squeeze. 2 more. And the last one we're going to hold. Lengthen the foot. And it might be that you're reaching your sock, your trouser fabric, your foot. And then just holding that there and breathing. And giving the front of your thighs a bit of a stretch. And then let that go, let the legs widen, and it's like your bum's waving, so just give it the big wiggles from side to side. And we're going to take ourselves to sitting just to finish. So from here, it might be you use your hands and push backwards, if that's okay with your knees. So you might push that way. It might be that you're going to roll onto your side first and push yourself up to sitting. Jackie, I've just seen your message there. I'll catch you on the recording. So bringing yourself to any comfortable position for you. Might be like this, might be like that, or like that. Reaching the arms out, a bit like you're an aeroplane. And we're going to lean over one way, but our bum stays on the floor. So you're just looking for your fingers to touch and then come upwards. Lean over the other way. Fingers touch. Oh, I've just got a cushion there to touch as well. We're going to lean over again. This time, keep that finger just touching. Bring the other arm down. And you're taking as close as you can, that hand to the other arm. And then open out again. Bring yourself up in the center. Have a little wriggle. Down to the other side. Bring the arm across. Open out. Coming upwards. And then take both arms down, give the shoulders a little roll. And turn your palms outwards. Breathe in, grabbing the air, look up to your fingers. Bring them into your chest. Well done. You're all done. I hope you enjoyed it. It felt like a really calm one today, so I hope it was for you too. I'll see you next week. Bye.